What's up, Inland Empire? I'm Jessica Q, and today's episode is going to be wild. We're about to go on a wild ride with somebody that's very well known in the Inland Empire. And before we jump into that, I do want to shout out our sponsor, Katawi Wowie Teeth Whitening Kit. If you're looking to whiten your teeth, go to katawiwowie.com. Use the code podcast for $20 off. And now, let's talk to Ahmad Bellozo from. So I don't know how to introduce you because I can't really say. I mean, this fool, right? I'm gonna say this.
I'm the sickest fool of all fools.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Self-proclaimed.
You are the fool, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you have had a journey and obstacles and a lot of things come in your way. But you've stayed resilient. And today we're going to hear your story.
Thank you for having me first and foremost. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. You know, after meeting you, I'm all about energy and I can feel your energy. You have amazing energy and you really want to help people. And so there was no way that I wanted to, miss an opportunity to have you on the show and let everybody, really get to know you, Ahmad, who you are.
Buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride, homie.
I love it.
All right.
And okay, so where do we start? So everybody knows you're a news reporter. You're a journalist. You self-made yourself into a journalist. And
Food News Network.
Yeah, and you grew so fast.
Well, you guys, it's like the iceberg, you guys just seen the last of it, but this has been in the making all my life, obviously, because part of what makes me and my channel so authentic is that I'm not ashamed to talk about, the things that I've been through. Even, I always pinpointed at when they took me out of my house at 10 years old and put me in the Los Angeles County foster care system, right? Because my sister was getting molested by my stepdad at the time. Oh. And so, I mean, not to get too crazy, I understand that, but that's what happened. And, 10 years old to go from, as far as me, I didn't see none of those signs. Yeah. So I was ripped out of my home, and so... and put into a worse position because they put me in a foster home in South Central Los Angeles with an African family, not African American, like African, like Zimbabwe African.
Yeah. Okay.
So their cultures and traditions and everything, even their discipline was very, very different from what I had grown up with, and being, so young, and then, having gone through the process of, the hospital, because when you get ripped out of your house for a charge like that, you have to go through a series of tests before they put you into a residence. Okay. They have to make sure your health and that
nothing happened to you.
Yeah, they check your entire body. I mean, like entire body, and that's
as a kid. How old were you when this
10. And so, being ripped out of your house for molestation, and then to go and have a grown man touching you all over your body on the same day, it's very traumatizing. You know what I mean? And so.
It's like they were molesting you all over, guys.
Well, I hadn't even been molested.
Yeah, you're like,
it was my sister, not me. Yeah. But or if I was, I must have blocked it out because in Mexican traditions, a lot of family members always like, kind of, and a lot of times it's nothing more than that. But a lot of times it is, and I remember, I don't want to say my family doing that, but my mom, that's my mom, and my mom's the sweetest woman I know. So you can't take that from me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, but for a grown man to do that to you, it's traumatizing. And so, I had my first fight in the foster care. I ran away from home the first time in foster care. I got yelled at by courts. I got yelled at by judges. I got yelled at by social workers. I got yelled at by foster parents, all because whatever. I was developing disciplinary problems, right? Yeah. And, back in the 80s, this is the 80s, they didn't offer therapy when you were in the foster care system. They offered it after you were released. So I ran through like a whole year of the foster care without therapy in real time. And so by the time I got released back to my mom's custody, after she did the work she needed to do to get us back, then they supplied therapy. But by then, my behavioral issues were so profound in me now that I didn't care what the therapist had to say. And it got to a point where the therapist didn't care about me either. He would ask me to wait in the hall if I wasn't gonna participate. Just go be non-destructive over there. And so I got treated like that a lot. And so I was just left to my own devices a lot growing up. And then shortly thereafter, I caught my first case as a juvenile for sitting passenger in a stolen car, listening to oldies in a dead end with a bunch of older homies and homegirls. I was a little wannabe back then. I was, a little wannabe. Fullest extent of the word. And my first case was, my first charge was for, I guess, joyriding or Grand Theft Auto or whatever. That charge. Released back to my...
This is your juvenile.
12 years old.
Well, you're obviously hanging around probably the wrong crowd.
Well, you got to remember, I was already in full behavioral issues now. Like the school couldn't control me. My principal couldn't control me. The social worker couldn't control me. The judge couldn't they were throwing everything at me but jail, right? And so, but I didn't care. And yeah, man. So long story short, my first case was for joyriding, and I didn't even know the car was stolen. I was just sitting in a car, and helicopter came, and cops swarmed in. They arrested all of us, and I got caught. Well, I don't know what they got caught for, but I got arrested for joyriding, and they put me on probation at 12 years old. My very first offense.
Wow.
No slap in the hand, no here, and so I didn't get off probation till I was 39 years old.
From that?
Probation and parole, yes.
Oh, just in general, like all the things.
Well, it's a big burden to bear, they took away my rights at 12 years old before I even knew what rights were. Mm-hmm. And so you have to understand that in the 90s, they used incarceration as discipline. Mm-hmm. They didn't think into mental health yet. Yeah. Everything was still
different. Yeah.
Very, very different.
Nowadays, people, because there used to be a stigma like therapy. Oh my gosh, you need therapy.
Well, there's no
are you
programs
crazy or something? But it's not like that. I think everybody should try therapy. It's just kind of nice to talk to somebody that has.
Well, even the laws are different.
Yeah.
Remember back then it was 3 strikes. You get caught for stealing a car battery and you get life. When today, you could literally arm rob somebody and get nothing and get kicked out. So as long
as it's under $950.
What I'm saying is even the laws are different. Like I said, they use discipline as a form of, incarceration as a form of discipline. Excuse me. And so I was a part of that environment, and then plus having issues at foster care. So, I did 5 years as a juvenile incarcerated. Mm-hmm. All through the whole, and all broken up, but 5 years of your life, that's a long time when you ain't even
You're
grown
still a
man
kid.
yet.
You don't even understand life.
So by the time I was 18, I had already did 5 years in jail.
18, you did 5 years. Okay.
Before I was 18, 18 years old.
Before you were 18.
I had already did 5 years in jail.
How was your mom taking this? Because your mom, obviously, she already went through a lot with what happened with your sister, and then you guys got taken away. And
my mom was it changed her too. My mom, she had 8 of us, single parent. She made her mistakes and she carries her cross, but she did the work too because she's a sweet old lady now. And older people tend to forget the shit they did. Oh, that's my mom. But we all love her, because we were all different back then. And so even me as a grown man today, learning from all my mistakes, I'm nowhere near I was in my 20s. I'm 47 now. And it's like, so by the time I was 18, I had already did 5 years. And then as soon as I turned 18, I was convicted of armed robbery in Pomona Court and sentenced to 5 years with 2 strikes. And I did the whole 5 out of that, got out. And
so you've been in jail?
Well, yeah, 23 years. 23 years total in my life.
Jail and prison?
Jail,
prison,
yeah. 18 years as an adult.
Wow.
And 5 years as a juvenile.
That's almost half your life.
At the time when I paroled, it was over half my life. I paroled at 39, I think, or maybe 4. I don't know. I paroled at 2015. And I haven't been back since.
Do you care to tell us some of the crimes that you committed?
My first crime was armed robberies out there, just jacking fools.
What
and they gave me 5 years. Drugs. I was a gang member.
Okay.
We would buy bullets with the money we would steal. We'd steal cars, and jack the rims or interiors and sell them for 400-500, but whatever we could get, and in turn go to the gun store and buy guns. And
what
buy
area
bullets.
were you living in
Pomona.
at this time? Pomona. Okay, Pomona.
So I'm a local.
Yeah.
Not from Riverside, but I'm local enough, and,
Yeah.
and I've lived in the Inland Empire. I got kicked out of Pomona at 16 years old by the city. I was in jail in one of the juvenile facilities over in Laverne, and basically they told my mom that I had to get out because I was such a nuisance. I kept getting arrested over and over again, and
they kicked you out of the city.
I had got kicked out of every school. I had got kicked out. No continuation wanted me. Even ISS was like, that's in school suspension. Even that, nothing worked. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So
I was very deeply rooted with problems.
I want to ask you something. So, how did the city kick you out of the city?
Get the fuck out.
Really?
Yeah, your kid's gonna end up dead or in prison.
And so they were just like, you need to move out. Wow.
The city does. You don't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
The city can just kick you out if you're a nuisance.
You can get kicked out of anywhere.
Yeah.
I can get kicked out of this podcast right now, right? Imagine what the city could do.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh. So, I got kicked out. I ended up in Fontana, and I ran through there, but I still got arrested in Pomona every time. And so I ended up doing 18 years in prison in 3 terms, 5 years, 3 years. And then the last one was 7. I got 4 years, and I beat up an officer in there, got 7 more years added to my sentence in there. So turned that to 11, did 10. So I did 8, got out finally, right? I was a drug addict in prison. I shot up heroin for the first time at 19 years old.
Wow.
And I was a functioning addict for a lot of years in there, like a weekend warrior.
Yeah.
And I got out, got married, destroyed my first wife's life, cheated on her, had 2 women pregnant at the same time. Was still heavily in substance abuse, but I like you said, functioning addict, I guess you could say. Didn't last long before she fell out of love with me, left me. But I'm very self-destructive, and so I didn't know how to handle my emotions back then.
Yeah.
And so I always would feel like, if you think you could hurt me, I could hurt myself a lot more than anything you could do. And I would do that to myself. And my time was incarceration. I would literally go do some stupid that would just get me 5 years and up.
Like, what was going through your mind?
I would carry like a AR-15 and like a fucking SKS rifle in my car with me, and if anybody got stupid,
and that's
because I knew that's how it was though. I didn't think about consequence at the time. I just figured I'll leave the world alone, but if anybody gets in my way, that was how stupid I thought.
Yeah. And
I did 23 years in prison for thinking that way. So it's not like I'm just here bragging like I was just Billy the Kid out there. No, I thought very stupid, and it led me down a rabbit hole that when I was ready to get out, I was so far in that I needed to start the process from in there. Mm-hmm. Just so that by the time I did get out, I would have a chance. Because if I try to do the work out here, after being in there, you have to start in there if you really want to.
If you could give a message to the kids out there, because it sounds you're in a gang, right?
Yeah.
You're in a gang. Is it true that you have to get jumped in?
I got jumped in at 14 years old into my neighborhood.
Really
you
got in.
I got jumped in. The homies got me in, and I was
they
a very,
your
very
family, right?
Well, I was a very, very good gang member. They teach you how to use guns, and they teach you how to steal cars, and they teach you how to break into businesses, and they teach you how to run people out of your hood, and they teach you how to be sneaky, and they teach you how to do all these things.
And these are like your brothers. They become your family, right?
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, but because
I didn't have no dad. I had been through the foster care system. I had been in and out. Like, when you're in jail, dude, and you're young, they'll not take advantage of you. I'm not talking sexually here. I'm talking they'll beat you up every day in there. If you're gonna have to fight every day of your life. So it's just easier to join a gang. That way, at least you're protected, because not only when you take on one person from a gang, you might beat me today, homie, but trust me, there's more of us that will, down the line. Everything comes full circle. Today is you, tomorrow might be me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we live our life like that. And one day you, one day me. And yeah, I just got tired of living like that. And so yeah, the gang, like I said, I was a very, very good gang member, and so it took a lot of work for me to get out of that mentality.
Yeah. When was it when you decided that you were going to stop this life, start a new life?
Well, I sobered up in prison 2 years, like 4 years before I was about to parole from my last 10-year sentence.
Okay.
And I finally got tired of owing so much money for heroin that cost $5. I was paying like $100 for something that cost $5 on the street. And I was like, just as bad as I was a dope fiend out here, I was even worse in there because, they give you enough to hang yourself, and it was like I was just feeding. And I'm a tattoo artist, and I'm very good. I'm just an artist in general. Like, I could do anything that I set my mind to, I'm good at it. And I implemented that into being in prison, so I was even a good convict. I was like, I
You're
have
like, whatever you do, it's gonna be
well,
the best.
I have moves because I was a snake. You know what I'm saying? I was a snake, and fucking snakes move, homie, and they're quiet, and they move in silence, and you don't even know until it's like right there, ready to bite you in the ass. And it's like, I didn't like that because I had no real friends. All my friends, even out here or in prison, all had an agenda.
Yeah.
There was no real
friends. On drugs, that's what
well,
happens.
yeah, everything roots around drugs. And so,
Yeah.
not to get too deep into what goes on in the prisons because they got their own problems. And I'm not involved in that at all. I'm just saying, like, when I was in that, I sobered up because I got tired of being a junkie. I got tired of being a loser. I got tired of owing money. I got tired of people having no respect for me. When I knew that I was more talented than 99% of these fools on this yard.
Yeah.
And at least in talent, maybe not, whatever. Like, I felt myself,
but you
because you gotta feel you're the best out here.
you
Because if
should.
you don't, then
Yeah.
you're just gonna be just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm not like everybody else.
You knew there was something special about you.
Well, I knew what I loved. I loved to read. I loved history. I loved watching documentaries. I loved educating myself. I hate drama. I hate making an enemy. I hate when people are after me or when people threaten me. I hate that. Like,
Yeah.
it
Sounds
bothers
like anything negative.
Yeah,
you stay away from.
It just bothers my soul.
Yeah,
And so
I feel
at
you.
some point, I figured that since I can't change my friends, then I just got to remove myself from the whole freaking
The
whole
equation.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did it when I got out of prison. Well, in prison I got cancer. That's when I changed. But my mind was already like,
Oh,
dude,
so while you were in prison.
I had 4 years to come home.
Okay.
I got diagnosed with AML cancer,
Wow.
which is similar to leukemia. And so and not only that, it attacked my spine, and so my spine became very fragile and was compressing on itself, and so I lost all ability to move from the chest down. And so I was paralyzed for 2 years while I had cancer, and they couldn't fix my back because they had to treat the cancer first, because you can't go into surgery until your body's well enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch
so
of
you
things.
had all this stuff going on.
So I had all this stuff
I feel
going
like
on.
It's
So
God. I feel like it's God. He will
well,
come
I'm dealing
in
with I'm dealing with withdrawal, and then I get diagnosed with cancer, and then the next day I'm paralyzed. But I'm not paralyzed where you're not in pain. I'm paralyzed where I can't move, but the pain was like excruciating, like out of 20. Tears. Like, I remember they would come in and ask me like what my pain level was, and like I'm like, you can't fucking see. Like, they wouldn't stop. 24 hours a day, the tears will not stop. And that's when I was like, I didn't think about my gang at that time. I didn't think about my homeboys. I didn't think about who was my road dog in the prison yard.
Yeah.
I thought about my mom. I thought about my son. I thought about my family. Like when it really, and I imagine that's what death felt like, because when you're like laying in like, and I'm handcuffed to a fucking bed, my ankle, and it's like, excuse me if I get emotional, but
No, you're good. We'll get you some Kleenex. Hold on, we'll get you Kleenex.
so
There's some in my office.
to go through that alone, like when you're in prison, they don't let your lady come hold your hand. They don't let your kids bring you cards. They don't let flowers in your bed. You don't have a TV in your room. You're like sitting in a fucking room, just no radio, just literally just like breathing.
You have to suffer alone.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, fuck, bro, like, this is my fucking penance, homie, for all the fucked up shit that I did, and it's like, I promised myself, like, I said, if I make it out of here,
Right here. It's okay.
if I make it out of this prison sentence, I'm gonna change my fucking life. And 2 years later, I was in remission. And I went through physical therapy to learn how to walk. And I did that. I got out. I never slammed again. To this day, I've never shot up.
Good for
To
you.
this day, I never shot up again. I never did heroin
That's a
again.
testimonial,
I never did
right?
meth. I never did
Yeah.
nothing, and I've done everything. Okay, so let me wipe these because ain't nobody trying to see all that.
No, you're fine. You know, this is a safe place, and I
Well-
know that all your followers and everybody, they love you for who you are, and you're real as hell. So keep it real. You know what I mean? And the fact that you've been through so much. You are.
Well, I got out of
inspiration.
prison, married, right? Because I got married in there, and I got out, and I did good. This girl had her shit together. She like had her own pad, and she had insurance and shit. Like she was doing the shit, she was doing her thing. And so it was really easy for me to stay off drugs like that. But being a cancer survivor, they sent me home from prison with like 90 morphines, the 30 milligrams, and like 120 Norco-10s, and like all these narcotics, and to a dope fiend. Like, it was one thing for the prison to control because they were giving me one at a time, and I was regulating
But
it.
now they just give you.
Well, they give you a whole 300 pills, and they're
Yeah.
highly addictive. And like, imagine if I was still a pig, I would have died that night.
How did you deal with that? Were you able to
Well, the cancer.
control it?
I always say the chemo killed my temptation because I wasn't tempted to take more than one. Like, I took it as my regimen, and so I maintained like that for a long time, and then eventually, like, over years, like, it wasn't doing anything anymore. I just started getting withdrawals when I woke up, so I started taking doubling up, and then it turned to 3 a day turned to 6 a day, and then that turned I was doubling everything up, and then eventually I ended up on fentanyl, a functioning fentanyl addict. I was married, I owned my own home, like I had 2 cars, like I had a job, everything. I've always been. I've never worked in my life, bro. Every money I've ever made was because I'm out here grinding, and even then, like I said, I own my own home. Like I was doing my thing, but I was doing fentanyl, and I was taking over 10, 12 fentanyl pills a day. The ones that they
Wow.
sell on the street right here, right now,
Yeah.
the blue ones. I was taking over 10 of those, plus everything I was taking through my doctor, pain management. So I was like having a whole cocktail that I was soulless.
I've just heard horror stories with fentanyl. We had a guest on here, and he works with the county,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just telling us about how the fentanyl's out there, and you don't know if it's not good, obviously, but there's
Well, it's in
ones
everything
that,
now, I guess. They're lacing everything.
yeah,
With even
and
weed.
people are just
apparently,
dying,
but
and
whatever,
kids
I don't
are
know.
dying. It's so sad.
Well, I was taking so much because remember, like, I had built my body. I had abused my body for so many years that that was nothing to. I could take that much and not die. I used to wake up and take three at one time, just like candy. You try taking that, you'll die. You'll die in an hour.
No, I'm good.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
like we're not. There's levels to this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, seriously.
And it's not nothing I'm proud of, but just the same. Like, I didn't get there overnight, and so it was.
So is this after you got out the last
Yeah,
time?
after I got out.
So
I got out in remission from cancer.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then
you're in
and then my
remission.
prescription phase.
Did you have
came
the
in.
surgery for your spine?
No.
So so that was supposed to just
Eventually
cover
my
up the
my
pain.
spine just fused.
Yeah.
Because
How did you
it
get off the
calcifies.
fentanyl?
Well, my ex-wife left me. She gave me like a year before she left me because she just kept giving me chance after chance, and we weren't even sleeping together anymore. I think we didn't even intimate in like over 2 years.
Wow.
Because fentanyl makes you impotent. Not because it doesn't work, but because you're not worried about pleasing her. I was more worried about where my dealer was gonna be in the morning, because the withdrawal was the withdrawal so heavy that even
How was the withdrawal from fentanyl?
you ever seen those people in downtown LA that they're sitting there and they're jerking,
Uh-huh.
they're doing
Twitching and
yeah, they're
stuff,
doing all
yeah.
that crazy shit, and you think they're mental health? They're not in mental health. They're in withdrawal. It's like electricity being pumped through your joints and your
You can't
veins.
even control
You can't
it.
control it, so you spasm.
Wow.
And so that's withdrawal. Imagine me doing that. And so she left me, and I knew that if I didn't, she left me for an inmate.
Yeah?
Yeah, real talk. I mean, love is love, homie. And if
Yeah.
I wasn't giving it to you, I don't like where you find love means nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's just that she found love somewhere else. because I wasn't giving it to her. And
Is
so,
she the one that you had your son with?
No, just my second wife.
Your second wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when my first wife left me when I went to prison at 18 years old. Or when I caught my term right after when I was with her. So my second term, my son grew up without me in prison like his whole life. I didn't know him, Now I know him.
Do you still talk to your second wife?
No.
Okay, not at all.
At
okay.
all.
So you moved on.
Well, she left me. She got her husband to talk to. There's no reason for me to talk to her. I got my girl.
I feel you.
Yeah, so
yeah.
no, but I made a bond even with her kids, because now they're men. And I never did nothing to her or them. Like I had my issues and she left me because I wouldn't fix my issues. And in turn, she's living her life now. But I got off because I knew that if I didn't fix myself, that I was gonna end up in prison because I didn't have that little security blanket no more or house to go to. Now I'm gonna be sleeping in my car or in the streets. I'm gonna be like, if I keep doing fentanyl, it's gonna be easy for me to be at my dealers and be like, "What's up, fool?" Before I never kicked with my dealers because my wife was at home, and I had to get home. But now if I don't have that no more, now I can kick it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I knew that I would end up back in prison.
time.
Yeah, and I knew I would end up back there. So I said, "Fuck this." And that day after she left me, bro, I fucking went to NA. And
did you?
Yeah, in Fontana at St. Jude. Shout out to Roland over in Fontana.
What? I want to let's talk about NA really quick because there are a lot of people out there that have, addiction to drugs, and they know deep down inside that they want to change and they need to do something.
Well, I'd say the first step, get your ass into NA.
Okay, tell everybody about NA a little bit.
Well, I went into NA in full withdrawal. Remember, so you see me spazzing out in the back and I'm like trying to be quiet, but my body wouldn't let me, and they all know, come on, they know who's there. And so when it got to the point in the meeting where they were like, does anybody want to introduce themselves, I wasn't planning to say nothing. I was like, I just went to kind of just scope it out, and they kind of like, everybody's like, that means you, homie, and I was like, well, fuck it, like I'm already here. So I went up there and I was like, hey, my name is Ahmed and I'm an addict. Dude, before I even finished that sentence, I was sobbing. And I didn't stop. Like how you see me right now, like I couldn't even get a word out for like 10 minutes, bro. I couldn't even, and I was like, and everybody's like, take your time. And I'm like, fuck. And
very supportive group, huh?
I hate when that happens because like that shit don't feel good, and it's like, I don't care how it looks on the internet. I really don't, because like when you went through as much as I went through, homie, like I'm surprised how I don't cry more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it only happens when I talk about it like this. But anyhow, I went to NA and they let me sob, and like I remember, I don't know who said it, but somebody just said like, take your time, brother. Like we've all been there. Mm-hmm. And I took those words and I said, fuck it. You guys might have to wait 15, 20 minutes because this shit's not stopping. And so finally,
okay.
I caught my breath,
I want to tell you, it's okay to cry. You went through a lot.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot and you survived it.
Yeah.
Those tears are tears of
triumph.
Exactly. So let them out, And
so they were like, so finally I caught my breath and I was able to tell the story about how she left me and about how, I'm in withdrawal and I've been cancer, whatever, everything. And then I finally told the story and I'm thinking like, now what? And they told me, come back tonight. And so I went to NA twice a day for 3 months. Wow. While I worked, even like I still worked, and then I started going to work out every morning. Like it was springtime for me, so I would go out to this little nature center right there in Southridge by my brother's pad in Fontana.
Okay.
And I would go there and I'd exercise with the birds. Like you would see the squirrels coming out and just jumping around, and like ducks in the pond, and like all these animals. Yeah, and I was thinking like if they could get up and start their day like. And then the little critters motivated me, dude.
Yeah, you, my little. And nature is very healing. I don't know if you ever go hiking.
Well, now I do.
You do?
Yeah. Like so religiously, we go hiking.
You do? Oh,
yeah, really.
I'm a big hiker. Mm-hmm. Wait, favorite hike in the IE?
Mount Rubidoux.
Hey, yeah, that's right.
I just went
there
last
like
weekend.
3 times a week. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure we probably passed each other.
Maybe. So NA, I would say, is a big part. And then, like I said, I was so heavily addicted that I went twice a day for 3 months. And then not only that, but after I was in pain management, so the way I got off is I told on myself to my doctor. I called my doctor crying, and I told him like, hey, 'cause he loved me, because I never tested dirty. I would use my son's pee. I would use even my ex's pee. Like I would use it. I knew how to move the system. I thought I was a snake.
Yeah.
And so I never got caught for cheating, and then
You just knew how to like
work the system.
Yeah, work it, get around everything.
Everything.
And you just, because you started so young too.
Well, I read these philosophy books. I read books on mind control. I read books on fucking power.
Yeah.
I read books on conquering
you're a gangster, but not a dummy gangster.
No,
you're like,
I'm not dumb at all.
You're an educated gangster
Yeah,
that can
and
get through and like
bro,
make
I've
anything
studied
happen.
greats. Alexander the Great. I've studied
Oh,
Confucius. I've studied.
Nice.
I read books like Shogun and Pillars of the Earth, Ken Follett. Like I know these big time players, not like Stephen King. I mean, shout out to him, but I'm saying like I know these real big authors and so I'm very knowledgeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just knew that there was a bigger purpose for me. If I was willing to put myself through this withdrawal willingly, and like, any other withdrawal I ever did was because I went to jail or because somebody took the drug from me. Like I didn't have access. That's the only time I was ever sober. I had never been sober because I was finally done. And that day I was done, homie. When that Hannah left me, she took the addiction with her.
I think she was a blessing. You know what I mean? Like,
or the curse.
So, well, very true. But
Depending on how you look at it.
I have this saying. I always say, like, don't let like certain people like block your blessings. Like, there could be things in your life blocking blessings.
We're born blessed.
Yeah.
The thing is that some of us
you
blame.
let things in. You let things in that are not meant to be in your life, and when you do that, it starts to block the good from coming in. And you, as a person, have to recognize what is there. It could be a person, it could be a job, right? Sometimes you got to leave that job that's destroying you from inside and out, right? But whatever it is,
I would say if you're dealing with addiction, get into NA. Be open about it with your family. Like, we've all tried hiding it, and look, we all relapsed. We all tried doing it on our own. We all relapsed. We all tried hiding it from our doctor. We always relapsed. So it's like, when are you going to try the right way of doing it and righteously submitting to the people trying to help you? Because I told my doctor, and I told him I was taking over 10 fentanyl pills a day on top of what he was giving me. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah. And he said, well, we're going to get you off. I said, yeah. And he said, well, give me, he wanted to do it like in 4 or 5 months. I said, nah, hell, I need this shit done like in 2 months. No. I said, well, he wouldn't do it. He wanted to taper me off. And that's why I really believe that it's the pharmaceuticals that want us on this shit.
yeah.
But that's another discussion, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that if I had to get off this shit, I had to get off. So whatever he gave me, I was breaking it in half already. And then I was flushing it down the toilet so that I wouldn't get tempted.
You didn't have more, yeah.
Because now I know that if I only have this much for the 30 days, I'm not trying to be in pain the last 10 days of the month. So this was not going to see, he's not going to see me again until 30 days. So I would cut everything in half. Because my spirit was strong in that moment.
Yeah.
And you got to do things when your spirit is strong. And I threw half the shit away. And in the morning, I was like, fuck. But now I'm committed. I'm all in now.
You're like, dang.
But so that's how I sobered up.
Yeah.
And it worked for me, homie. Like, I've been sober 2.5 years.
I was going to say, so you're sober 2.5 years. And I really want to get into
how I created Food News Network.
Yes.
Well,
and all the drama that you're going through. So
I used to do a lot of memes for other food pages and never got really no real recognition for it. And I just felt like I was better than them anyways. And so I had a homeboy that used to tell me, just create your own shit. Like, why are you always pumping them up when it's clear that you're funny? They use your shit, but they don't tag you. Like, so I just said, fuck it. One day I just created.
As a content creator, that's a big no-no. You create something you want at least.
I was giving it away.
Yeah.
I was giving it away, bro. And then for years. And so when I was in prison, I used to watch this show called California's Gold with Hugh Hauser. And I've watched all his, if not all, at least 1,000 episodes, right? And when I got out, I said, I want to do that. And so I just changed it to Food News Network, but I imitate Hugh Hauser. So when you hear me saying, you know, here we are in the beautiful city of Riverside.
That's how he says,
That's
right?
Huel.
Okay.
You know, once again, you're invited to come along and join us on another example of California's.
So he was kind of like an inspiration
Well,
to your...
I took that and I just fooled him up. And I
Yeah,
was like,
you
what's
fooled
up,
him up.
homie? Here we are in this beautiful... And
I love
so
that. You became the homie, yeah.
people really gravitated towards that. And then, you know, every now and then we got some crazy accidents or cars upside down. And
I mean, you've shot some really intense news reports and just going live on social media. Like, I mean, you've done things that news reporters that work for like big channels,
They can't do that.
They can't even get in there the way that you do. Like, I mean, just the other day you posted where you're like on the side of the freeway with an accident and like cops don't say nothing to you.
It didn't start off like that. It started off very, you know, I got yelled at by a lot of sheriffs. I got yelled at by a lot of highway patrols. Firemen didn't really, like, they want me out of the way. And then, but they didn't know me from Adam. So it's like, who's this fool? And I was all up in, but eventually and in time, they got to see that, you know, they got to see my face around and they started recognizing me. And then it started, and then the stickers, I give stickers to everybody. And so that's my little way of marketing myself, that I give away free stickers to everybody. And the logo's so catchy because I took the logo from the Fox News channel.
Yeah.
And I, you know, edited it and I made Food News Network.
Yeah.
And so,
which is super
creative, right?
Yes, but it turned around
risky
on you, right?
because Fox News hit me with a cease and desist, and so did TMZ.
TMZ.
And
Why TMZ?
I don't know the connection to that. I would say maybe they're
owned by
owned.
the same-
That's what I
okay.
think. But
So when did that happen? Is that recent?
I got hit like 2-3 months ago with the infringements.
Okay.
And then there's this fool named Andrew Connor in Pennsylvania, some white dude. I don't know who he is, but he trademarked
we
the
don't
word
know who
fool.
you are, but Andrew, we
Well,
don't like you.
He knew ahead of the
Leave Ahmed
game.
alone.
He knew because he trademarked the word 4 years ago.
Okay.
So it wasn't me.
But what was his trademark? Because when you
Fool.
trademark something, but it has to
Under
have...
media, journal.
Oh, media.
So it fell under my category.
Damn. Okay.
And so
Yeah, I
he
can
hit me
see
with
that.
trademark violation. And then, you know, it was, in this case, it was David against Goliath, homie. And fucking Fox News took me out. I woke up one night to use the restroom. You know, we all check our social medias when we're sitting down or whatever. And, and I'm sitting there, right? And I'm looking at my Instagram, and I had 145,000 followers there, and it was gone. So I'm like, what the hell? And I'm thinking it was a glitch. Because, you know, Instagram glitches every now and then. And so I went to TikTok, and then I had 200,000 over there, and they were gone. I was like, now I'm tripping. And then I'm like, go to my YouTube, and that's gone. And I'm like, what the?
Everything. They wiped you out?
They wiped me out. Just like that.
That's devastating because
I
it's
make
not easy to like build an audience and create all that content. I mean, as a content creator, you know,
I can't use none of my videos because they all have my, because, you know, I would put my logo on it because I wanted people to know that it was me.
Yeah.
But you know what? I kind of, so anyhow, they took my company. So we're in the process of rebranding. We got a new logo. We got a new name.
So what's the new name?
I can't say because, dude, the hate is real. If I put it out there right now, they'll mess around and trademark my shit. Yeah, because they did it with Full News.
Yeah.
My competition trademarked my logo. My direct the people that I used to do the memes for that I told you, they trademarked my logo.
Wow.
So the competition is real. So if you're a small business owner and you're really out here trying to make a real,
be careful,
protect yourself, get your LLCs, you know, create your logos, patent that shit, trademark.
NDAs,
everything.
If you have to talk to anybody about something, because, you know, I know, like, I'm working on a project right now and I'm pulling out my NDAs and I'm like, I won't even tell you unless you sign this, because if you try to go do anything, oh, trust me,
they'll take it.
Well, yeah.
Well,
like,
nobody cares if you
will.
ain't making no noise.
You'd be surprised, you know, because we're in the same industry, right? So we're out here, we're trying to create content. I'm more of like, see, I've been doing this for 12 years already, so it's not new to me.
I've only been doing this a year and a half. I'm learning all my mistakes in real time.
Right. And so, like, over time, you know, I feel like I was this kid playing by myself in the playground, you know, for the past few years. And then, you know, now there's all these other kids to play with. But not all the kids are very nice, right? And a lot of them
kids throw sand in the sandbox, homie.
Yeah,
they really do. And caca and everything else that's in there. You know what I mean? Like, but
people just, you know, if it's not their idea, they're gonna figure out how to take.
No, everybody thinks they invented Food News. You know how many people tell me they invented it and I stole it from them?
Oh Lord!
Because
really?
look it.
That's funny.
I consider myself an artist. You know, if I use the design of yours or a logo, I don't use your, I mess with it, and then I put my version of it, because Food News is exactly that.
Yeah.
Was I hated watching the stuff on Fox News.
Yeah.
And so I created my own news channel so that I could put what I want, and I'm unbiased. That's why the whole community loves me, because I don't put my opinion in nothing.
Yeah.
If you notice,
No, it's all factual.
well, I try. Even if I get it wrong, I'm not too proud to say, "Hey guys, I'm fucked up." You know, excuse me, but
okay.
I'm not too proud to say that.
Yeah.
And but in this instance, my only mistake was just being good, homie.
Yeah.
I was too good that they seen a threat in me, that they stifled me. And you know, with my mental health and with my, you know, past convictions, and with, you know, my past drug, like, it would have been really easy for me to fucking crumble and go back to the bag.
Yeah.
It would have been really easy for me to be sitting there in fucking level 4 yard with my feet crossed, saying, fuck,
Yeah.
I fucked up, man. I had something good in these fools. So anyway, I'm convinced now, because like I said, we're in the process of rebranding ourselves. So I'm gonna come back bigger and better. Trust, homie. And I'm so glad that this happened now.
Yeah.
Because I plan on being a millionaire one day.
Woo.
And, you know, and I ain't waiting no 5 years neither.
I'm not gonna.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I believed in myself that I created this, and now my people are actually following me. And it's so crazy that it's strangers that are coming to help me out, because I'm not saying no, a lot of people have came, but it just seems like people quickly forget, you know, when you help them. And now that I need help, like, damn, not one person, bro, has came and said, hey, Ahmed. Well, no, let me retract that.
Some people.
With the exception of a few people, and you know who you are, homie. But it's strangers like you. I just met you last week.
Yeah.
You know, you know, we got things in the works, and
It's God's work. Honestly, when it comes down to it,
Yeah.
I live my life for God.
Me
I
too.
trust in Him 100%. Yeah. So whatever He wants me to do, even the bad things that happen
Mm-hmm.
to me, I recognize the good out of them, and I know that it's a process, right? This is life, and every day you just got to get stronger. You learn.
I had lost my faith.
Did you?
Yeah, because when God paralyzed me, and I was still in pain, and then I was fucking dying
Like,
of
is
cancer.
there a God? It makes you
yeah,
think,
I'm
like,
thinking
is
like,
there a God? Why would you do this to me?
This is how I thought, and I don't think like this anymore. But I was thinking like, dude, if I would never put my son through this, I would never chain my son to a bed. I would never fucking put my son through what you're making me feel right now. Like, I would never do that, and you call me your son, bro. So I straight up, homie, and no disrespect, but I straight put two fingers up to the sky, homie, 2 middle fingers up to the sky. That was my attitude, and I lived my life without God for 10 years, homie.
Wow.
And just recently, when after I built my business, is when I started seeing all these blessings coming to me, because I changed my attitude, and I went to therapy, and I surround myself with good people, and I don't even follow anybody on Instagram because I don't want to see the hate.
Yeah.
I get so much in my DMs. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves to trigger everybody else.
Of
and,
course.
And I'm not with
Misery
that.
loves company, right?
I was part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I was out there throwing clickbait too, homie, because that's what gets the numbers. But you know what? I don't need the internet to validate me. Like, my community does that. You know what I'm saying? Like if people follow me because they choose to follow me, it ain't because I'm out here being silly. It ain't because I'm out here talking shit about people. It ain't because I'm out here exposing this person or this person and this person. Like, gossip. I hate gossip. I hate drama. Why you think I ain't did a podcast? I get invited to 2 or 3 podcasts a week.
Ah, so I feel special then.
You're the first podcast I've done in 4 months because I stepped away. And I just felt that if I'm going to tell my story, I wanted to pick the right podcast and pick the right audience, because I'm in the Inland Empire, homie.
Yeah.
And I love the Inland Empire. And I'm not even from here. I'm from Pomona. And it's like,
You're just like a couple miles down.
yeah, but you know, Riverside has shown me love. Bro, I go to any store, they try not charging me. I go to Tio's Tacos right now, they won't even charge me. I'll go to DTE and get in for free and get drinks all night. And I don't drink, but like, I could if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, I literally could go anywhere in this town, homie, and like, they roll red carpet off for me, and it's like, I pay though. because I understand business now. Me, like, if I could, I would give all my shirts away, but I can't because I gotta sustain myself. So I
mean, at the end of the day, it's a business, right?
It's a business.
You know, you're very fortunate because you get to do something that you love, and you get to make money. You know what I mean? So
I didn't start off like
blessing.
that. I had $10,000 when I left. That's all I had to. Well, probably less than that, but my money was going like this because I was working.
Yeah.
So but I used all my money into building my business. I wasn't out there buying the fastest car. I haven't bought an outfit in 6 months, dude.
Yeah.
Real talk to this day.
You're like reinvesting. And
These shoes.
Yeah.
I was in the Riverside fire at the Harwarden fire the other day, hosing down the mountainside. That I was wearing a brand new pair of Kick Swisses that day, and I ruined them because I was trying to save somebody's house, which we did, by the way.
Yay! You saved the
I
house?
went back yesterday. I talked to the owner. The house is still there.
Yay!
But somebody, I was just like, damn, I just bought these shoes and now they're done. Extra crispy.
So are these new ones?
Well, one of my followers zelled me money and said, here, homie, go buy yourself a brand new pair of kicks on me.
Oh, that is
And so, like I tell you, like I accepted that because brand new pair of kicks is always
You can't say no to that.
But exactly. But it's like I like to pay for my food. I like to you know what I'm saying? I don't like to take advantage.
Supporting the community.
Well,
too,
yeah,
in a
because
sense.
I don't like people asking me for free shirts all the time. Like if I give it to you, cool. But like a lot of people say, hey man, like they think I'm a millionaire. I'm like, fool, you probably got more money than me. It's just that I'm probably more generous than you. Right now. I'm not, I'm just saying like, but I wasn't always like this. Like I had to learn. I just gave up, homie. I gave up. I let go of any anger I had in my heart. Any people who I hated. Any people who hated me.
How do you feel today? What is that? Like, what are the feelings that you have?
It's funny because I'm a tortured soul, dude. Like I'm cool and funny in front of the camera, and I could put on a good persona. And sometimes, like when it's just me, I'm very edgy. Sometimes and it's sad because like I show it a lot, and like sometimes my girl sees it, and it's like she don't deserve to see that. And
you
it's
feel
like
pain. You still feel pain from your
not
childhood?
pain. It's just like I haven't dealt with it 100%, and I'm still a work in progress myself. And that's why I do these motivational videos, like how did I get out of addiction, or how did I deal with divorce, or how did I deal with my son calling another man dad, or how do I do like. So
YouTube. Do you ever do?
I do them.
I watch a lot of videos. I'm all about self-help. So if you go on YouTube and you just put like whatever you're going through, but
we do that now.
Inner child. Have you heard of that? I'm sure. Okay, so go look up inner child, and
I'm gonna look that up.
It's very interesting how that the feelings of the inner child come out of us as adults, and how it affects our relationships, the way we do business.
Trauma. Especially
trauma.
if it's trauma.
It's trauma.
Some people had good inner child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, their inner childs are solid because they did have an easier upbringing. But if you had a lot of turmoil and like one of my issues is abandonment issues. My mom left me when I was 6 years old, put me in an airplane. We were in Mexico. She remarried. So it's the whole thing, like remarried, left, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so she put me on a plane at 6 years old, and I'll never forget it. I sat in that plane and I screamed and I cried, but the screaming and crying wasn't going to open the doors to the plane and make it turn around. And so I have held on to that my whole life, and I think it affects me in a lot of things that I do when it comes to like relationships.
You go into fight or flight mode.
I'm constantly in that.
I do the same thing. And like I said, I'm self-sabotage. Dude, I threw my mic out the window one time. I was so pissed off at I don't know what.
Your food news?
Yeah, the original one. The one that had been in all the original videos.
What made you so mad you threw it out?
Internet.
Oh, then.
The internet.
You can't let the internet get to you.
Well, look, people say that. It's easy to say that when people get 5-6 comments and, 2 or 3 or even one a month is but when you're reaching numbers like I reach, and you have you have to block 300 people a day because they're telling you middle finger, they're saying calling you this name, and so
brush it off. And you know what? This is
no,
how I
we
look
don't do
at
that
things.
because I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up inside. Yeah, that I've been through cancer already, and I don't want to give my page a cancer. That's a cancer.
Yeah, those people don't know. I always look at negative comments as it's building my algorithm. I'm like, go ahead, comment. I ran for mayor, and I had I had a smear campaign go up against me, and people are just saying so much stuff. But sometimes bad publicity is better than no publicity. It is what it is.
Well, you're a seasoned vet. I'm still new to this. Yeah, maybe at some point. You
can call me anytime if you have any questions or concerns.
If we, I hope I get to that point where I could brush it off. But right now, it's not only me. It affects my girl. It affects my daughters. It affects my sponsors. Them. I'm sure, dude. One time, and this is just a little side note.
Okay.
I have one of my sponsors. And I'm always out there promoting their business, doing my thing, and people who don't like me were going into their page and airing their grievances on my sponsors' pages about whatever.
About you?
Yes, and I'm like,
haters. That's haters. They are trying to ruin you however they can.
How are you gonna? I don't know. How are you just gonna? It's one thing sending it to me.
Yeah.
As a person, DM, whatever you want to say on my page, but the hate is real. That they will literally go to your sponsor and be like, "Hey, and not say, oh, hey, this guy stole my car last week and he did." No, it wasn't shit like that. It was shit like, oh, looky, now we're here. Now we got spawned. Just little kid throwing sand in the sandbox, like I said. And it's just like, wow.
Well, they're jealous.
But these are people.
They're trying to mess with your money.
These are people with platforms. These weren't just like a troll.
Yeah.
These are like real people.
So they have like a following themselves.
Yes.
Okay, then they don't want you to take their attention, right? So
I
they're
just
trying
trip
to
because I don't say shit about nobody.
Brush it off.
I don't know. I guess I'm learning. I'm better now. But it's definitely look
eventually.
If you fools want to be famous, be careful what you wish for, homie, because you just might get it. And two, it ain't.
Can you handle it?
Well, I've had my tires slashed over this shit. Yeah. I've been beat up over this. Literally, 10 grown men stomped me out.
Wow.
On Halloween. That's another story. We're past that. I'm just saying, we got smeared. You got smeared in a smear campaign running for the city. Mm-hmm. I got in a smear campaign through the internet trying to just be a good person.
Yeah.
Anyhow. So be ready. Yeah. Be careful what you wish for.
Ready. So get ready.
You might get it.
Your new.
Well, my new brand. Out. Well, I'm just Ahmad Bellozo now. Trademark that.
Ahmad Bellozo. You can go ahead and tell everybody how they can follow you on the social media platforms. We're gonna have to bring you back. We'll do a part 2. Yeah. Because this has been really great, and I really appreciate you coming out.
Well, thank you for having me. Sorry if I dragged it out.
No, this was amazing because it was all from your heart.
Yeah.
And that's what people want.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know the truth. What's going on?
Well, you guys could follow me at Ahmad Bellozo 2 on Instagram and TikTok. And I believe it's Ahmad Bellozo on Facebook. So either way, it's my name, homie. Yeah. Google it.
And then also, I'm excited because you are also working with us, What's Up Inland Empire, to help us plug in some good news in the IE too.
So every time we do stories now revolving the Inland Empire, whether having to do with, breaking news or stuff going on in the community, I'm tagging Jessica's page here, What's Up Inland Empire. So if you guys see us collabing, we're working together now just to bring more information to the community. That's all it is.
About. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And supporting each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And see, that's the thing. Is we want to show other people too. It's about building
relationships.
Stop the competition.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot of business out there for everybody.
Yes.
There's
a lot of good people out there still.
Yeah. Yeah. There are. And so find your people. Like they said, they heard that saying.
Know your audience.
Find your people and
know your audience. Very, very important.
So cool. Well, thank you so much for being on today's
show. Thank you, Jessica.
Yes, it was such a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning in to What's Up Inland Empire, a weekly podcast, YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, follow. We're on Instagram. On Instagram, we're highlighting local places, and we've got news. And yeah, I can't wait. Whenever your new brand comes out, we'll bring you back so we can dig
Oh,
into
the
that.
world will definitely know when it drops. Trust.
And last but not least, a shout out to our sponsor, Katawi Wowie Teeth Whitening Kit. In 7 days, you can have a bright smile. Smile is all about confidence, so go ahead and go to katawiwowie.com. Use the code podcast for $20 off.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next time. And actually, because there is an event happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday is the International IE Festival. So I want to remind everybody that's going on. And What's Up Inland Empire, is going to be there live. We're going to do a live broadcast of our podcast from 11 a.m. until whenever. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure where we're going to be set up, but be sure to look for our tent. And yeah, we'll have some goodies for you guys. So thank you so much. You guys have an amazing day. Thank you, Ahmed.
Well, thank you guys for everything. FNN out.